Welcome to the Trinidad cast. What today is, boy?
Friday.
Today is Friday, the 16th of August.
You know,
what's that?
As you say, it's 16 something. Not weird, but something that's come to my head. I don't know if you just do this too, right? So my wife and I, we have an anniversary date for when we get married. But my wife does, before you get married, you had an anniversary in terms of,
when you start quote unquote dealing, when you was dealing, start dealing,
So me and my wife together, not married but together, probably 17 years now. And like every month, like from the time we get together, every month she used to call it a month anniversary.
Wow!
Like the day, and up till and it's been the 16th every month. So as I say, the 16th. Yeah, up to today, she tell me happy month anniversary.
That is. I don't know what to say. That's kind of creepy, but okay, happy month anniversary to you. Yeah,
and like
apparently.
The thing is, like, not so much now, but like in the earlys or even a few years ago, she used to get upset when I forget.
Bro, all right, must be nice. That's kind of funny though. Yeah. Yeah. So for those of y'all who listened to us last week, we had an article that was sharing some information about EVs in Trinidad and Tobago, and we basically floated a lot of speculation because we weren't 100% sure about certain things and all that different stuff. Well, today we have a actual owner of an EV in Trinidad and Tobago who reached out to us via one of the socials, and we're going to talk about owning an electric vehicle and the ups and downs and what it actually looks like in Trinidad and Tobago. And I am really excited for this. This is episode 78. Did I say that? I don't know. I think I said it's episode 78. Yeah. So let me go into it now. His name is Marlon, and we're gonna bring him to the stage. And let's just talk about EVs from an actual owner who could give us real-time, real-world information. So, hey, Marlon, good evening to you, man. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
First of all, we're real good enough. First of all, I understand that you're an avid listener to our podcast, and I want to know, how did you find out about us?
Well, being in the same tech space as you guys, I've always wanted to get into and listen to local content. Who had what local content, tech space? And I just one day typed in Trinidad technology to see what it came up. And you guys can say, hey, nice name. Let me give him a listen.
Yeah. For real? All right.
Yeah. That's what it was. And I said, okay, this sounds cool. So I listened to all the back episodes, a couple of episodes that you have, and I said, well, and every week I've been listening every week since. That could be more than since beginning of the year or late last year, somewhere around
so there. So you hear from like episode 30, 40 from somewhere around there? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So what usually when I find a podcast that I like, I will listen from episode 1 while I do other stuff. So it'll just catch me up on what's going on while I listen. So I'm now current. I'm very much current.
Right. So you get the context and the inside jokes. I do that too. I do that exact same thing. If I find a podcast I like, I'll be like, wait, these people have inside jokes. There's something that happened in a previous episode that I have to find out. So like how we always talking about financial issues and digital payments and thing. Yeah, that is our backstory. We talking about that from since day one.
So I mean, if you don't mind, you mentioned that you have a tech background, So what's your if without giving too much detail, what's your background? If it's just you like technology, or if that's actually a job, or you gotta give too much, sorry, if you don't want to.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, technology is my career, is my job. Really and truly, on socials and thing, I put a label of a business solution advisor.
Okay.
I actually first tech job, or I didn't study technology in school, right? But I went to St. Anthony's and I did a million subjects. And none of that was IT related at all. Yeah. Right? Actually, IT wasn't, I would have left school in 95, so IT wasn't a thing. But coming out of that, I started to work on my own, and I was weirdly introduced to technology in two different pursuits. So I had a promotional company that used to throw parties and that kind of thing, and technology was some kind of thing. So I started working at one of the banks, and I became a lending officer, and a lot of the young at Bank of Commerce, it wasn't Republic Bank yet. I'd get customers like, you ever hear about Crosby Record Shop?
Yeah, Crosby, yeah. I know about Crosby, yeah. That's in San Fernando, had one.
That's in St. James.
And St. James, yeah. They have different locations.
San Fernando had one too.
Okay.
I was a young lending officer at Bank of Commerce in St. James, and Oman Crosby walked across from the record store with his little son, Kern Crosby, DJ Crosby, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, you're gonna open this new thing, some business that whatnot. So he was just gonna fund the business was to duplicate CDs and sell CDs and bring CDs into the record shop. So from there, I was the person that was preparing all the things that he needed to buy. So Kern was saying he needed this and that. So I was looking at it from a financial lending point of view.
Yeah.
And then he said, I don't want to have real stories, but I'll just do it quick. So basically, I was always introduced to technology. I think Kern was the first person that actually gave me a bit of software called Cakewalk Pro, which was audio production equipment.
I know Cakewalk.
Right? It's now Adobe Auditions or Adobe something.
Yeah, they get both over from Adobe. Yeah.
So at around that time, I was helping manage and promote a cousin of mine who's a DJ. Cell construction.
Cell construction is your cousin way, but I grew up on. Good.
Yeah, we can talk a whole podcast on entertainment. So basically, he said, "Oh, listen, for me to do this, I've given you the software Cakewalk Pro, statue and things." So I went and I bought a computer. We spent about almost $30,000 on a computer, and I teach my cousins, and we all come together to learn that. So they went into studio business. So technology has always been, so we have that side of the business, entertainment and technology. Moving away from the bank, I started my own web design company because the web was something. I bought a HTML5 book, CSS, and this new kid on the block was JavaScript. So I started learning that and Flash. Right, I started to learn to program in the mid-90s, that kind of thing. And because I had an entertainment slang to everything, with my web company, so I do well. I still working at bank. I actually transferred over to the credit card computer room at the credit card center. So I was learning things like AS400 and mainframe and how to maintain it. And how to,
I remember AS400. Yeah.
I left there when I left the bank in 2000, just after the Millennium Bug in 2000.
Y2K.
Y2K. So we had done Y2K and finished Y2K. I started my own business. I didn't go to work for anybody. It was a company called Web Gold Designs, and I started with one of my other cousins, who was a graphic designer, and I could code. And then he went to England, and we were doing this kind of moonlighting thing. So we had all kind of different things. So basically, I in Poison at the time, I would have been the first person to ever do a Flash animated website for a Poison section. So we had all kind of different stories, all kind of happening through. So my technology introduction was more. Not I want to study IT and this is the future and this we want to do. I was always doing these kind of things. And at some point in time, I was able to go away and I bought a camera, first digital camera that I owned. I used to use the, I think 2.5 floppy, the 10 megabyte floppy, they put in little square ones.
Yeah. It's not SD card, but it's like it's like
not the SD card. We're talking about this the old time floppy disk before. You had to go over the hole, and then they had the smaller one after, like that. The save icon.
Yes.
Where kids will call it save icon.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Right. So I had a Sony camera board back here, and that's where the web business took off. I was doing things for like companies like Great Fat Weekend and all the masquerade bands and things. So nobody had digital cameras per se. So we were doing photography, basically digital photography, and then besides the web, I took on some web business for the bank. We became the web designer and thing for Republic Bank, because Republic Bank had taken over Bank of Commerce, and been playing with technology since. I got kind of fed up writing checks and doing utilities and running a business, and I sold out my part of it and say, hey, I'm going to do something, and then I was looking for something to do. I went into networking. I did all the MCSE. I did like about maybe 16, 17 Microsoft certificates just to say that I know what it is and start to consult from then go up. I'm not talking now. So I've been consulting since then. Yeah. And so that's my thing. I work for the largest medical distribution company as the IT manager for about better part of 10 years. And so I sold that business, went into my own business and kept it on the side. This customer had an offer that I couldn't refuse. So I kind of made myself small, and then I left them in 2017 because my son was born in 2017. That was my first kid. Right? Well, I had a daughter before, but my son made me change my mind. I said, I can't be doing this kind of work anymore. But it was a good year because at that point in time, I was managing a group of guys called Ultimate Rejects.
Yeah, that's
right. And they got roadmaps.
Yeah.
So I'm actually their manager. So
okay.
Right. So life was good. Started tour the world, do all kind of thing with them. What I had going on, and I started consulting. And so all my customers now are all over the place. I have mainly customers that deal with like private member clubs, casinos, banks, automotive distribution. I do all kind of different, whatever you need. Like so today, I had a customer that wanted to get They run a casino and they want to be able to show some stuff on thing, but they have no idea how to program it, how to do it, nothing. And they don't want to go buy something, they want something very custom built. So I will now find and either hire in developers or develop it myself. So because I'm kind of proficient to the development so far. So a lot.
Yeah. So
I know we talk about EVs today.
That's okay. That's it. So I mean, you've been involved in Trinidad in not just the tech space, but in terms of, I would say, the digital space, the web space, from a while ago. So you kind of see how things progress over a period of time, up to where we are now. So you kind of there in the forefront and, see how things evolve, So, like, I mean, looking back, I sure you would say we come a long way, but well, at least from my perspective, I just feel like we still have a way to go by.
We have a long way to go.
Yeah, how you would
I think I agree with you. We have a long way to go. We have had a very colorful tech history overall. Mankind and all overall colorful tech history. I mean, I generally agree in terms of how the large corporations or corporate technology is working out, the Googles and the Amazons, and how they're rushing to something. I think AI is the hot thing, but what has happened is now overshadowing all the creativity we would have had in the 90s and the 80s when the web was now becoming the web, and they had there's a lot of innovation, but because everybody is now moving to the web or going to the web and now looking for somebody to think for them with AI, a lot of innovation is we're reaching a point where innovation is going to slow down dramatically, that we're going to try to get this AI thing to innovate for us, which it can't. That's where I am at right now.
And I mean, Andre, come into that day, as a teacher, you probably see that firsthand. Probably with your students, because like for us going to school, you had to kind of do stuff on your own. Even like for me, when I was in school, Google was now coming about, but for them, it's way much easier to have Google, to have AI,
Yeah, and they still don't use it. They're lazy out here, that's wrong, they're really lazy. But yeah.
To be honest, having a teenager and a little son, I do think Google will exist for them later on in life. I believe these omnipresent beings that they're trying to put in places where they're trying to align the youth for. So this way it is only for a tech few, those who are going to become coders or become part of the digital economy, that it'll be for them. But most people, they're building everybody to be lazy. Yeah, that's what it is. Everything, even this AI thing that they want to work on is just the innovation is going to disappear, and it'll be in the hands of a few. Technology will be owned and managed in the hands of a few people who want to not follow the regular.
And I mean, like, I know we kind of ain't talk about EVs yet, but I mean, as I said, right, in terms of that. Yeah, because like say with teenagers, they just kind of be immersed on the phone in terms of social media. When they go a little younger, like if they go very young, just be immersed in the iPad. And even if you look at preteen, just be immersed in stuff like Roblox and so a lot of they have a lot of immersion in technology. And I think, well, at least with social media, the big tech companies noticed that, and they already had algorithms long enough to be addictive for the youth, and the other games too, like Roblox and all that stuff. They have things in there where you need to pay to win. So it's very much gamified. Yeah. So
right now, like home by me, technology is I wouldn't say it's like a luxury, but it's a necessity to finish school and do this and stuff. So like my 7-year-old, he won't get that tablet until maybe 13 after he finishes his schooling or whatever. But he's already immersed in it. So he has an Xbox, so he play games and that kind of stuff. And when they're on Netflix now, so I'll just get a quick story. He's 7 years old, has his kid account and that kind of stuff. One day I saw a whole set of profiles made on my Netflix account. Guest 1, guest 2, Ronaldo, all kind of different things. But what I didn't realize that those accounts were adult accounts.
Yeah.
So I left it. I said, "Why are you making all these stupid accounts? They have all kind of stupid names and that kind of thing." And then I figured it out. They was watching TV. My daughter watching TV, and she said, "Uncle, I'm not seeing the show I want to watch." Because I said, "Yeah, because your account is set to 16 plus."
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and that kind of thing. And he just jump up and go, so use the guest account. You can see everything on the guest account. So he already know how to supplement. So they're already in it. Although I'm not trying to stop them from it, but I want to introduce them responsibly.
Yeah, correct.
I was never to subscribe my wife, and I never subscribe to make technology your babysitter. And that's what a lot of people do, and that's where they feed on. That whole algorithm thing is what they're feeding on, the attention.
Yeah. Well, boy, you just took us on a technological history journey for the past 10 minutes, and I want to continue. But we gotta talk about technology, because I really wanna talk about that Flash thing, because I never meet a Trinidadian who programmed Flash before now. But we'll talk about it some other time.
no problem. I'm so glad, to be honest. I'm glad Flash is dead.
All right, so we here to talk about EVs, and we know that Marlon, you are actual owner of an EV. So after this break, we'll come back with where the questions and just the basic understanding of the EV world in Trinidad and Tobago, right? So we'll come back after the break, yo. Well, you probably made it this far in the podcast. That means you probably like technology a lot and like to at least hear us talk about technology. And that also means you may know somebody or somebody who knows somebody or somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who wants a website built or an app built or some sort of technology integrated in their business. If you want to help them out, you could send them to makeITsimpleTT, send them to us. And we have business services that range from building websites to building apps to invoicing systems to ensuring that technology is used in your company, the installation of routers, buying things online. So you could check us out, 308-8799. You could check our services out, or you could go to makeITsimpleTT.com and see some of the things that we've done and maybe give a recommendation to our website built or something like that. Back to the podcast. Marlon, he is with us from wherever Marlon is from, and he is going to... No, we don't need to know. And he is actual owner of an EV in Trinidad and Tobago, and is living the electronic vehicle life. And all the questions that we had in last week's podcast, I just going to pose them to you, and we're just going to go through what it's like, right? So first of all, why an EV? And when did you decide, all right, I'm gonna get a fully electric vehicle and I'm okay with it? I've gotten over all of my fears or concerns.
Okay, so in that multi-part question, let's start. Why an EV? Mm-hmm. Well, it was done with a lot of research in mind. I've been following the EV trend in States online and stuff for a long time and looking at the battery technology and all the mechanical technology for some time now. Even all the emergence of these car companies in China and what's going on with Tesla and that kind of thing. But I was always running traditional ICE or ICE vehicles, right? And it was time to change. Coming out of COVID, it was time to change cars at the time. And when I looked at my bills, I was like, cool, boy, what are we going to do here? I spending close to $2,000 plus a month in gas. Plus that kind of stuff. And those other European cars said, burning oil, gas, everything. Hot oil. And then, I every day that I come home, I talk to my little son and I say, we have to be environmentally conscious and we had to do this and we had to do that. And then one day he's into cars, he said, well, Dad, your car is causing the earth to heat up. And I said, well, that's true. So I said, we will make better choices. Our job is to make better choices as we go along. So when it was time to start switching on cars and stuff, we changed my wife's car first, and we're using my vehicle, which is a European vehicle, and it was rough. The prices and the additional up and down with the vehicle being a 10-year-old vehicle, now I could say it's astronomical. Before it was regular.
It was plenty. Yeah. It was just regular, but plenty.
It was plenty. When you listen to everybody, there's so much you spend on gas and that kind of thing. And the nature of my job is that I kind of go to see clients, and I always had to go pick up kids, run back into Port of Spain, do different. So at certain point in time, I clock in 100 kilometers a day, easy, right? And that's not being in traffic or anything. I hate traffic. I'll be or everywhere else where traffic is not.
Everybody, yeah.
And so the whole EV thing came up, and then I was looking at the hybrids and the vessels and all these things, and it's like, but my brother bought a Nero, and I started asking a million questions to the point that he's fed up. He's like, "We're asking all these questions, oh boy." So he put in $100 in his car every month. I said, "I'm real good boy. I spent $2,000."
Yeah, and that's a hybrid, right?
Yeah, that's a Nero is a hybrid. Yeah,
right. Okay.
And then when I started looking at the mechanics behind it, that you had to still maintain an engine, and the battery so small, the battery giving you about 3-4 kilometers worth of range, and if the engine cut off, I was like, that ain't making sense. So I started looking at the EVs, and I had it in the back of my mind. I wanted to explore it, but it wasn't for the faint of heart.
Well, that's why I want to know, right? So you looking to switch out vehicle because you have a vehicle for 10 years, right? And when you reach that 10-year mark, you had to kind of decide, all right, I'm going to fight up with Betsy or I'm going to switch out, right?
Correct.
So you're at a point where you're thinking about it. Now, the part where you said your cousin or whoever it is had a hybrid.
Yeah,
bro. I find a hybrid is kind of like don't make sense because
totally agree.
You're going to have to maintain the engine with 500 moving parts, and you're going to have the battery issue that's going to bounce up later. So you're just going on. You're basically going to have two sets of problems that not solving anything. The only thing that the hybrid would have been solving is that you wouldn't have to put in as much gas because if you're going for short distances, the battery would kind of take you through. But is it is it a plug-in hybrid or that was just a
that was gas. That was just ice and battery.
Yeah.
So
it
didn't make sense.
That was kind of hybrid. So you reach at that point and you start to explore the EV, right?
Right. So I started to explore the EV market, right?
What's your research channels and how the Trinidad? So what I want you to do is give me like the US research is okay. Watching YouTube videos and reading articles from America is cool. But then there's a part where you had to reach the Trinidad research. So kind of walk me through what the research would have been looking like.
Well, firstly, what I did was the online research would have led my inquiries to who had EVs, what was happening, that kind of thing. So what I did was I started going to all the I should call the company HSM, all them other companies that had the Benz and the Teslas and the used those companies, and I was like, cool boy. $250,000 for this car, boy. That'd be mad. I only go online, you see it for 30,000 US. It's like something. The maths not matching. This maths not matching. And I started to do research, and then luck would have it. One of my good friends of mine, his wife purchased a Mini Cooper. It was a Mini Cooper, the first Mini Coopers. I think she bought it through she works on the banks that as the car she wanted, so they bought the car. So I spent some time with him driving around all over the place with him and trying to figure out what was the best thing. And running through his having that hands-on with him, I was able to say, yeah boy, EV is it. And he said, when you realize that this EV is like a well-kept secret. If you can get an EV at a reasonably priced, it's going to tremendously increase the value. And well, when I say value, meaning that'll drop your expenses a lot, by a lot.
Yeah, your bottom line increasing. Yeah,
it affects the bottom line greatly. Yeah. And those guys, his foray into EV was like, wife wanted electric vehicles. Cool. Money's no object for them. So they just have a electric vehicle. So it
was like a pet for them. It wasn't like a need.
So he wasn't saying that was he need to do it and how was the distance he's going to travel. Right. I need it because I want to use it as a work vehicle, a everyday utilitarian vehicle. So then I decided to say, listen, here what? The next time to change the wife car, I convinced the wife that if we buy this EV, she wouldn't shut down on the road. Because originally, it was for her to drive. Because she would usually drive to office and park it. So I say, you're only going 20 kilometers. But before that, when you have an ICE vehicle, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Because the prevalence of seeing a gas station every half a mile or 2 miles, it puts in a comfort zone that you don't have to worry about gas forever. Right. When you have an EV vehicle, it now you're now studying.
Yeah, to reach home.
In the strip, how I'm making it back home, if I'm using my lights and that kind of thing. And that's how it all started. So I started doing research. I started to find out what vehicle battery sizes. And then I realized that the ranges that they were quoting from driving the Mini and stuff, but I realized that everywhere we go in Trinidad is within the range of even the smallest EV vehicle that you can do and back.
Okay.
Everywhere. So then I said, okay, we good. So basically, after doing all the research again, back to the essay question, I wanted to go and maybe buy a Tesla or something like that. But the deal for those Teslas on those other European vehicles that are electric, they can become costly to maintain if something happens. If nothing happens, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so same thing we said last week. Yeah, we was like, well, yeah.
So the problem is, I don't want to have to hedge my bet or I have to every month put away X amount of dollars like I was doing with the ICE car in case I get bunks and I have to send away for parts and I have to do this and I have to. I said, if you're going to buy, we wait till an EV vehicles available from one of the big
dealers where you can get a warranty.
That they could get the warranty, the warranty part of it, which is good.
As well as probably the technicians that might be able to
fix
repairs on over,
yeah. But so when the MG came out, the fully electric MG, so I have a electric ZS. Yeah, ZS.
Yeah. I know fully well because trust me, I Google real hard the amount of video. My YouTube feed full of EV things right now because ever since last week podcast, and I was like, I 25% convinced. I was like, am I really 25% convinced? Yeah, 35% convinced now. But go ahead.
Right.
So you just pop into my life right now.
Yeah. Right. So I purchased that a year ago, beginning of July last year. Right. Range on it is about 320 kilometers, 325 depending on how you charge it. Is a 50 kilowatt hour battery, and these are the numbers that you need to know about the how much kilowatts that you use, how much electricity you have to put in it, right? So I convinced myself. I tell my wife, I say, we're gonna try it. I got the car came with a charger and everything for home, so I got that installed. I got an electrician. There's actually a code for you to follow. From the electrical inspectorate and everything for EVs at home, so you could install it safely. And once you have
so wait, it don't plug into a normal normal 120.
Yeah, if you want to use it once a month.
Stick long to chat. Okay, hold on. We gotta take a break.
Yeah,
we're gonna take a break and then we're gonna go through the ups and downs because we get the story about how we get it. Now we're gonna go through the actual day-to-day ups and downs, how the charging us go, because we are real questions and you look like you are real answers. Right now you're listening to Trinidad Techcast, and more than likely you know that I love technology a lot, but more so I love teaching technology. I'm a CSEC IT and Cape Computer Science and IT teacher, and I have classes that are available. So if you know any student that's looking for quality Cape Computer Science or CSEC IT classes, you can check us out at 308-8799 on WhatsApp or makeITsimpleTT.com/register. You can get classes, notes, recordings, IA, SBA help, everything that you could think of that will get you that one in CSEC IT. So you can check us out. Back to the podcast. All right, so we're here with Marlon again, and he is talking about his EV journey. And right now we reached to the point where he has an MG and he is going in the deep end, jumping in head first. And what does it actually look like when you go straight in the deep end? So start us up from charging, range anxiety, maintenance, everything.
Right. So usually, depending on where you're buying the vehicle from, always the tip is to negotiate a home charger with it. Most of them don't know the difference between a fast charge and a slow charge, but get a home charger.
Right.
Sacrifice something. So like I had to sacrifice one of my AC units for one of my rooms to put in because I don't have enough electricity. So that's another thing.
What do you mean you don't have enough electricity?
So basically, the townhouse I live in was built a little while ago, and there's a certain amount of electric. The panel has a certain amount of breakers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, and there's only a certain amount of 220 outlets you can have because you can't charge it on 110. It comes with a plug-in charger that you can plug it in. That's a trickle charge. So if you're charging from, let's say, 20% to full, it's about 17 hours.
Overnight? Okay.
No, there's no overnight, partner.
There's more than overnight. You sleep for 17 hours.
No. So if you go from 20% to like 70%, and again 3 days.
Oh yeah, by far. Your day. So right. So we get to the day and the usage and thing.
Okay. All right.
But the whole thing is that trickle charger is in case of emergency or you get stuck somewhere. I think that trickle charger. So I have used the trickle charger when I forget to charge the vehicle. So I charge the vehicle twice a week based on my usage. Mm-hmm. Right. So I do about between 30 and 40 kilometers a day. Sometimes 50. Like today was a little extra. I did about 65 kilometers today with it. So I'll say top up on a Thursday overnight. I get full for 100%, and then top up on a couple hours on a Sunday night, back to 100%. Mm-hmm. And that will last. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So you do around 600 kilometers a week, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around that. So for the last year, I would have done about 22,000 kilometers overall. So it depends on because when I first get it, I test the bejesus out of it. The only thing I have not done is actually drive the entire length of Trinidad and Tobago. You go, you leave the west, you drive down, you go east, and then you go down the Arrow and then come back around south and head back home. I haven't done that. What I did was I drove to Toko, back. Then I drove to Grande, back. Drove to Mairo, back. Drove down south, down to Point Fortin, back. And I used the car. So I went to some place I had to go to something. I can't remember the place. My wife went to go visit some friend at far. It was about
Siparia.
It was about 100 kilometers. No, it's not far. It would have been closer to Cedar side down and
yeah.
Right, so it was about 160 kilometers. The total trip was 160 kilometers. So it was about 80 to go, 80 to come. So really and truly, the range anxiety, I did those things to figure out where I could charge it. Now, the only place down on that side that I found that was reason that could charge the car for free still is the Couva. There's a new gas station out on the Couva on the
highway.
Pre-sale. Yeah, pre-sale.
Yeah, you just drive in. Yeah. You just drive in. They have a supercharger. So they will charge my battery if it was dead in about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Right? So that is my go-to point in terms. So the going back to the trickle charge is like if you get stuck in down in south or up in Toko where you're not getting close to a charger, you plug into somebody outlet and you spend the weekend. Or just get enough to come back, you come down, come back down the road. But there's no place I've gone so far on a full charger, you can't come back home. And there are vehicles now, so like the MG I have is like 320 kilometers. It was a little bit higher, and I've seen over the years, so it went from about 330, 340 kilometers at 100 to now about 320. So you could see there's a slight degradation as time goes along. Hopefully that, from my research, is that 10% drop is when you first start to use it, and then it does not be 10%, it'll be like 1% or so over a period of time.
Right, because many YouTube videos I've watched have explained that to me, and I don't think I know. I think I know now because I watched so much videos this week about it. So here's a question I'd ask you, right? Now, the charging at home, you could do the trickle charge, which is the 110, and you could plug it into a 220, right? Once the 220 is on its own breaker, then you should be okay because it then go trip, right? A 40 amp breaker. No.
Yeah, 40 amp 220 volt breaker. They have a standard actually that came out that they could give to the electrician, and the car dealers is make a call. They have the contacts because they try to sell cars, so they have everything there for you. So it is verify and that kind of thing. And
so if I unplug my dryer and I decide, all right, well, I'll just unplug my dryer and charge the car.
You could do that. I think it's quite possible. Not until I think we get punitive laws here for that type of stuff, then it will be an issue. Because I could have done that, but I sacrifice some part of it so I can put in the breaker and everything. So in case they ever come and say, well, we need to inspect the place, or what the installation was. Nobody ever come and inspect nothing. I had my electrician, a certified electrician, for the spec, and that was it. The electrical inspectorate guy got in contact with me through the car company, because the car company have to say that they do it. And he called and said, "Hey, what was the case?" I said, "I'll talk to my electrician, who happened to be my brother." He's an electrician. Yeah. So he said, "Okay," I talked to him, and both of them had a conversation on the phone, and they talked I felt like how we talk IT with other people. It's like, I don't know anything I'm talking about. And then the man called, say, "Good to go, just sign." He needs to just okay with the company that was installed properly.
Okay. And how fast is the 220 as opposed to the 110?
Right. So I've ridden, so to do a full charge from, let's say, about 20% to 100%, 4.5, 5 hours.
Okay.
So from 17 hours to 5 hours, I've ridden it down to about 3-4% already, just to see how it break down. And that was like 7 hours kind of thing.
You sounded like me, yes?
Yeah. I was not going to say that, like my gas light, those always come on.
And the reason I did that was I had some family emergencies going on, and I was in Belmont by my mom, and I was under 20. So actually, I had like 19 kilometers of range remaining on it. To get from where I live to my mom is about 12. So I say I'm good. But what happened was I had an emergency. I had to run to Europe. Right? On 19 kilometers to run to Europe, come back to Belmont, and then head home. So what I did was I realized it was 19. If have it on normal, so I drop it in eco, turn off my AC, drive down in the evening, no lights, and I make Belmont to Europe, back to Belmont, pick up my kids, and reach home on about 3%. To turn on the windows and take, because I say if we just shut down, I'll just call roadside assistance.
I ain't gonna lie. I would have had proper range anxiety there. I would have charged in Belmont, and I'd be like, "Listen, let me just stay here for the night or something."
It couldn't. I honestly did it. I could have stayed, but I wanted to see how far I would have gone, to be honest.
Right. I rate you. Because it's a kind of like an adventure too, and I could hear the adventure in your voice. I could hear the passion to see. Let me see what my little toy can do. That kind of vibes. Now you tell me about taking off AC and turning off lights and all them kind of things, right? What is the biggest contributing factor, or what have you seen? Because I know you probably experiment. Which one gave the most amount of range? AC or lights or?
Firstly, the eco mode now, that's the only time I've ever driven that car in eco mode. It does not go as fast as it go in normal or on super mode or sports mode.
Yeah.
So eco mode does a lot of things. Eco mode, in this vehicle, it changes the temperature, the AC, it opens the vents, the LED lights in the entire, so I've checked the intensity of the lights. So I want to see what eco mode could do. So all the lights, everything, they get dimmer. Everything gets dim. The hood lights stop working. So it actually shuts down the car into a running mode. It kind of limits the acceleration. It limits the car and all. I think that is the biggest saver in terms of the eco mode. Is the biggest saver. The next thing is just turning off the AC.
Okay.
Just turning it off.
I was going to say, I mean, so right now school clothes and stuff like that. So if I could think back to, like, you know, when you had to do pickups and you're on the road and stuff like that. So a typical month, you know, I know you probably had a baseline in terms of what your electric bill used to be before and what it is now, you know, to kind of factor it in.
Right. So my baseline on an average extra for the 2-month cycles between $275 to $300 extra every 2 months. Charging twice a week. And that is for me, happen to say, oh gosh, I have to go to meet a client down south.
Yeah.
And I may have to put a little extra charge to boost up. Instead of charging on a Tuesday, I might have charged Wednesday instead.
So that is basically 150.
150, yeah, 150 a month compared to $2,000.
Yeah, cause like for me too, I just do around, well, not now, but like during school time, I used to do around 600 kilometers a week.
Yeah.
And I spend like 1,400 a month.
Correct.
So if I could go to 150, I'm thinking too.
So the thing is, no, seriously, I told her, listen, we're going to buy this vehicle and it's either pays for itself or we sell it.
Yeah.
We understand, because if it's too much headache, we just get a regular car. And so far, I end up selling my car. I'm using one car right now. Because it has been so, I could, because of the savings, I could hire a driver to drop my kids. I don't have to face the traffic.
Right.
You understand? So the quality changes in life based on what is, and it is a big difference. So I remember watching a YouTube video where one of the guys was doing a review, Trinidad driver or something you call him.
Trinidad driver 47, yeah.
47. And he said that is the best kept secret. He is damn right. We'll get there. In terms of like service, it's every 6 months you go for service. So far I've serviced it twice. First bill was $485 because I had nothing to change. The second
wait, so $400 to watch? To look at it?
To look at it.
So that 6 months is just 6 months flat. I know
6 months. Yeah.
No 5,000 kilometers, nothing like that.
6 months. This is we call it 6 months. The next, so we just did another 6 months, and that was 6 something. They say in the next one, what has happened is that the regenerative brake pads, we may look to see how it does, to see if we need to change it, and I asked them to give me a cost. I don't have the cost yet, so they'll tell me if they want to change it. So
you could drive 100,000 kilometers in 6 months. It's just 6 months, no?
6 months, yeah.
And you say the cost was about $400?
$485.
Wow.
That
is Massey?
Massey.
Wow. I used to go Massey if you know how much I pay on our service.
And I feel they will change their prices and stuff at some point in time, or they'll say, hey, people are gullible. When they start to sell a lot, they'll say people are gullible, because I asked them, so listen, you'll just check the car, did you all do any software updates? When's the next software update? And then they brought somebody else and say, hey, yes, sir, we'll do a software update. So they know that so and I asked them, I want to see a schedule, what you're going to have to do with the car again.
Yeah.
And they then write off as a troublesome customer.
Well, an inquisitive customer, because I don't know, like when I check it out, the only thing that they have to replace is brakes and tires. Not even suspension does give trouble for the
I haven't had anything. Right now, run some run flats on them. I believe I may, because of the added weight to the vehicle, based on the wear and tear right now, I may have to change those maybe 6 months to a year from now.
Tires, yeah. Well, normally tires could last like 3 years for some people, but in this case, it might be like a year and a half.
No,
I'll see. Yeah, go ahead,
just in gas, like gas alone, right? Yeah, savings. But you see it all about our service, $400. I just go Massey for service. Massey, they charge me around $1,500 a service, and there's where you come in every 5,000.
Yeah.
You know, so that alone.
And 1,500 so good. My other vehicle, them European vehicles, you're going easy $6-7 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did tell me off air that you got rear-ended once, right? So you got
once in 12th of June this year. So before it even make a year, I'd get it.
Okay, so you got an accident. That is our next anxiety issue there, where when you get an accident, will they be able to fix it? Will you be able to get the parts? How long are you going to take? And all that kind of drama. Let me hear about that one, because that one definitely the audience going to want to know how that work out.
Right. So right now you're getting live updates as it's live. So the guy that rear-ended me on the highway has the same insurance as I do.
Oh wait, pause. How much you pay for insurance? Not how much you pay for insurance. Is the amount that you pay for insurance the same 10% of the cost of the vehicle?
it was about the same. It's the same. They underwrite the vehicle at the same cost, I think.
Deductible every time. I mean, not deductible.
Yeah. No claim bonus.
No claim bonus. Yeah.
No claim. Everything was same. Because I'm a long-standing customer, Beacon, they took on the business run. It was average. They did it at the value of the vehicle.
Okay.
I think we had to pay like about $280 or something for that vehicle. At the time, that was like the first batch that came in or whatever. And so there's regular insurance. They didn't have no extra because no EV tax on it.
High liability, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But right, of course, right. So the whole thing about it is the insurance came. My wife and I are adamant about trying to restore the car to its original, to keep the warranties and everything. Because knowing where the battery pack is and whatever, it got hit. I don't think it would have damaged the battery pack or anything at the back of the vehicle, but we wanted to make sure there are certain things that some features, because the sensors were broken and that kind of thing, that working like automatic cruise control, the lane assist, all those things are now in error mode on the vehicle. And so we were going to Massey. Got a runaround from the insurance company. They had to adjust it a few times because they find Massey prices were too expensive. So we are still up to today. So that thing, which is basically a bumper, tailgate, and some sensors, and to maybe straighten back out where the chassis would have gone in the back, was like close to $40,000.
Yeah, I had an accident, similar with Massey too, and big run around with them. Same thing too, Massey had coat high, the insurance wanted it to come down a little bit. The talk with Massey, it come down, some special discount got applied.
Exactly. And then, and what I think they did, they call us and say, listen guys, they got a next adjuster look and say, listen guys, we'll cut you a check. Yeah. But the check is like $20,000 less than what Massey put in. So who gonna get the difference?
that whole insurance thing is I don't say it, but people just make a lot of money there.
So the insurance thing is no different from an ICE car. You have
no different. The only thing that we had to do, and what I saw on the quote, this live this week, so we were on vacation last week. The insurance sent a PO to Massey to pay, right?
Yeah.
But on the quote didn't have any pricing. I mean, on the PO had no pricing, but they went to pay for the labor. And on the bottom had this disclaimer that says, this is to return the vehicle. Any additional diagnoses or anything else that be wrong, the insurance no longer liable. This is the final thing. So we call the insurance to find out insurance what it means. So exactly what it means. It says that that's what Massey quote, right? What Massey tends to do is to come and re-diagnose the car and then charge more, and then they get stuck with a higher bill, right? So when I call Massey now, so we're now trying to figure out on Massey, what is the deal? Because we asked them to do full diagnostics on the battery integrity structure. I want to make sure when I'm done, I can still get my warranty.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's a 10-year warranty. Yeah. It's just 10 years on the battery. So I want to make sure I can still get 10 years warranty on the battery.
Okay.
And make sure everything come back. So
you had to, by chance, I can't remember what you call it, but I think I call it depreciated value on the parts. You had to pay that?
No, because all my parts is less than a year. So I didn't have to do depreciated because right now, when we talk to Massey has all the parts that should be in this month. So hopefully when the parts come, because they don't have any of what we need to fix it. Some part they need. I'm hoping it's just the EV sticker.
And what is your confidence level that they will be able to fix it back properly to the state that it would?
I think Massey does a good job. I had other vehicle with them. I had a Tila and something else, and they restored the car to almost to what it should be for their
work. This one have sensors, boy.
I know. Yeah, but I think actually, what I was surprised that although MGs are a SAIC brand, which is a cheaper Chinese brand, It was an English brand, Morris Garage or something like that, and became a Chinese brand. With that impact that I got, I thought everything would be broken in the car. But the rear sensors, they still work. The camera still works. I was shocked. But things like the whatever radar and everything that they need for lane assist, I think that stopped functioning. So but I think the Massey guys, what the guy at the repair shop was saying, that they have their team that was before they could even bring a car here, they had to certify their team that they could repair the car.
Okay.
So I was in Mova. You went body shop in Mova. Yeah. I did work there. They did okay.
They do okay.
So we talk about charging, range anxiety, we talk about the warranty, we talk about the insurance, talk about the payments, the servicing, talk about getting in an accident. Now, the software updates, right?
Right.
You had to ask them when is the next software update. Now, as a driver, you don't get any notification on the display that says a software update is available, because they're like minor updates, and then there are updates that only not the manufacturer but the service people could do. Experience anything like that yet?
No, I think this version of the vehicle now, this version, why we selected this version before I will buy another EV again, right? But I selected this version because of a couple of things, and maybe we could expound on that. Because one, it is an electric vehicle that is based on a ICE drivetrain, one. And two, it is not fully connected to home base or to the mothership.
Okay.
So updates are only applied now. Well, I've realized there's a USB port on top by the windshield, and there's another one underneath the dashboard where they do their updates and everything. So it seems to be still a manual intervention by the company to do the updates.
Okay, now OTA. Okay.
So it's not you don't get over the air updates or anything like that in this version of the vehicle. Now they're gonna have the newer version, so I think the smaller car. Well, of course, I would taken it at piecemeal because those sales rep, they just trying to make an sale. The next one will be better. Just like I said, listen, I really like how the MG pickup looks. The pickup looks really nice. The MG pickup.
Play with my emotions, Don't play with my emotions.
It looks really nice, but I want an electric vehicle. The rep say, yeah, boy, we're getting that. Come in. I'll send you a quote. So I say, listen, I don't think so. I did walk into the showroom and I asked them. They say, yeah, they're now trying to put together an order to bring some in 2025 to see how it go, that kind of thing. So
if you play with my emotions, because now
honestly,
I have a pickup.
If I'm not a pickup guy, I don't like pickups. I don't like used to be. I like sports cars, short car. And I have different. But if Ford brings the F-150 electric, I'll buy it at a reasonable rate, of course.
I know how reasonable that will be now, but no, okay. I really love like your openness and you're explaining every single thing. We don't even have to ask questions, and obviously you listened to us last week, so you're like, that's you know what we're gonna ask, and all of those things, right? Now the over-the-air updates, glad to know that that's nothing, because next thing you get a blue screen. Well, like you connect to Wi-Fi, they push an update, and then when they push an update, you're vexed in the morning because your whole dashboard interface changed because they think that's what you needed to have and those other things, right? Now, coming from an IT person perspective,
right,
when you interact with the vehicle, how do you feel the user experience is? Because the user experience will vary from place to place, but we clearly dial in on your experience. You are IT person. IT people tend to be able to understand what the programmer intended to do and just kind of work around, okay, they probably should not put a button here, but understand why they try to put it here. Your experience as an IT person versus a layman who drives it and has to interact with the software and interact with the interface. How would you say, because maybe you might compare to why for somebody else who would have interacted with it, how you think software implementation is in this particular vehicle? So
for this particular vehicle, I believe for a regular non-IT person, it would work fine.
Okay.
Right? For somebody who have a innate how things will work, how screens just change. So sometimes I'll jump into the vehicle, I press the start button, and the navigation switch from right-hand drive to left-hand drive. So all the menus, everything on the left-hand side. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, and then I have to actually switch off the entire car, do the whole, press the alarm, coming back into the car for it to recognize and go back and switch. So there are some little glitches in it, right?
Yeah.
What I've realized is that it really boils down to the version of CarPlay or Android Auto that you have installed in the vehicle. Now, this vehicle does not have the latest version of Apple. I think they are maybe one behind or something like that. And doing my research in because I have CarPlay, right? It has its quirks that you'll find it quirky for an IT person. You know, the navigations between screens, so like if you have ways up and that kind of thing. What seems to work much better, I find, you see the hands-free command version, commands that you do. So Siri versus whatever Android is used, sorry, or right?
Yeah, they tell you sorry, not me.
So my wife, well, everybody know Apple by me, but anybody that log in, my niece, whoever come in the car and they're using an Android phone, they can't do the same simple things that Apple CarPlay could do. Right? So I would say, Siri, WhatsApp, XYZ, and just start speak and like XYZ. Sorry. Yeah. So from that thing, I think it's basically a preference of what it is. And it boils down to the actual auto OS that you want to use. I believe from my experience using both Android Auto and this, I would prefer, not being biased, but I prefer CarPlay because it's easier, less things to worry about, less glitching, less of a lot of things.
So they do have they do have in-house software that's installed. You have to choose one of the operating systems.
They do have in-house software, so they have they have a media center. It's very basic Android.
Okay.
So it's like a vanilla base. So they have a media center, digital audio, FM radio, navigations. If you had that type of nav, so it is vanilla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for it, but it does. You don't get any features. Well, it has Bluetooth, so you can basically Bluetooth your phone to the car and listen to whatever you want to listen to and get your calls and things like a regular hands-free. It is just maybe a version or two better than where you get from them Chinese roll-on-roll-off vehicle kind of
Understood,
thing.
yeah.
And I think most people too, even like with more high-end cars, I think most people just default back to Android Auto or CarPlay.
CarPlay.
It directly linked to your phone.
Linked to their phone, yeah.
Well, even the European cars, they're real behind in terms of but auto. That's what runs the thing. If you're going for the vanilla OS, is just a
they had to do it, so they just put it there.
So people who have a phone could use the vehicle.
Yeah. Okay. So that's software wise. And okay, now when it comes to the interior of the vehicle and the techiness that the interior of the vehicle has, a lot of the things. Now I could probably go online and just watch a review of the vehicle, right? But I really want to know because the people that listen to our podcast, they are IT people, and most IT people, they're very picky when it comes to saying something is techie. They'll be like, nah, they could have do this better, could have do that better, right? Is it a lot of manual things where, okay, if you had to move the seat back, you had to pull the lever and pull it back, or is a lot of button pressing and plenty electrical things taking place to tune the car to who you are?
So basically, a lot of the creature comforts that you get in a mid-class or entry-class level, what we'll call luxury in Trinidad, those kind of features and things. So this vehicle is... because I wanted to experience the EV and get rid of the range anxiety and everything, this is very basic. This is just above a 80 wagon.
All right. Okay. Not the backseat of an 80 wagon. Can't be backseat of an 80 wagon. All right.
It's a comfortable ride. So, it has power windows and everything, but it's tough plastic. I took fabric seats because the additional cost to go fully loaded is an extra $28,000, which to me it might sound very cheap on my thing, but I don't want to spend that kind of money for pleather.
We for the people. We are plenty quote unquote cheap people that understand what you're talking about.
Totally value for money. So value for money. So they are. So if you look at the BYDs, you're talking about the BYDs. So I started looking at the BYDs, even the Hyundais and of the Ioniq. Right, the Ioniqs and them, they have a lot more features for comfort car features. Because basically, if you really boil it down in terms of technology, this one is very basic. It doesn't have wireless charging, and you had to pay. I wasn't paying $26,000 for wireless charging.
Facts. When you could buy one on Amazon and plug it in the USB.
Correct. So that's what I have now. So basically, this one was a trial. So I even told you, I said, listen, it's a year or two. That's it. We'll find something else. Now that we've found that this EV is worth its while. Now, preparing for a zombie apocalypse or end of world crisis or another COVID or the shutdown of economies and things, I don't think it's wise to have solely EV vehicles. Right? So maybe a hybrid or a gasoline and I think if you have to have two cars in your household, but if you're only down to one vehicle, and between you and me, based on what I see in terms of to charge a vehicle, if you said they double the rates, I don't mind paying $600 more, $300 more a month to charge my vehicle. Because it's like the battery lasts for like a half tank of gas, basically.
All right. So we are starting to move on to the future of it, right? So we'll take a short break and we're coming back and let's talk about the future of it and how close I am to asking you for the number of your sales rep. Well, because you're listening to this podcast, more than likely you know how to order things online already. But if you know somebody who doesn't know how to order things online and you probably just fed up having to order things for them and you want them to be able to get a little more self-sufficient with respect to ordering things online, we have a service called Order It where you can send the links and we order it for you and we deliver it straight to you. So if it's somebody who is not technologically savvy, doesn't have a credit card and they want to order things online, hey, send them to us. 308-8799 on WhatsApp. And we'll be able to help them order it and save you the trouble of having to buy things for them. Back to the podcast. All right, so we're back and we having an excellent conversation with Marlon about the EVs in Trinidad and the ones that he owns and whatnot. So just to kind of recap, for those of you all who probably watching the video in pieces on YouTube, Marlon is an actual EV owner. You own a MG, what's it? ZS, right? Yeah. So it's a SUV, it's a sedan. Well, it's a. So
what you call those kind of cross is between a SUV and a car.
It's a Yaris Cross, MG Yaris Cross, right?
slightly bigger than a Yaris Cross, but to be honest, it is. If you want to go full US, so like for example, we pay golf and golf kind of, by the time you put one pack of golf and the whole back full. So it's like, let's say my sedan had more space. There's a trunk space and that kind of thing. So it's just,
Right. So he owns his vehicle and he has given us all the information about the ups and downs, range anxiety, payment, insurance, even getting into accident and all of those things, and that was the last segment, and all the questions that we need to answer and that we think everybody would want to know, we would have answered, right? So now we're moving on to like the future of EVs, and in the previous conversation or previous part, you would have said that is the best kept secret, and probably adoption is not as high as it should be because a lot of people are afraid. But now that this best kept secret is getting to be out in the open with people like you and people like me who want to get one real bad, but really afraid or was concerned
real bad
about.
Is 35%.
Nah, I passed 35 now. I passed this conversation. I'm going up to almost 70 now. But anyhow, right? Wow. So, the future of EVs in Trinidad and Tobago, I know they have the tax breaks and all sorts of different things. But when I hear about them tax breaks and things in the budget, for people who import in electronic vehicles, I was like, yeah, that's clearly for the upper echelons of society, and people like me have nothing to worry about, like when it comes to that. So tax breaks, tax incentives, going green, and all of the stuff from a country that's clearly petrochemical and is going to be petrochemical for as long as we possibly can, because that is just how it's ingrained in us, right? Do you think we are in a position where the tipping point for EVs could be within the next 5 years in Trinidad and Tobago, where adoption will start to reach to commoners? When I say commoners, people like TIDA owners, people like who looking for the most inexpensive of vehicles because that is what they could afford. Will we start to see foreign used EVs coming in and those sort of things? Like, what do you think from your perspective?
So I've given that question a lot of thought, especially buying an EV. If we look at mass adoption, I don't think it may happen until we get enough car dealers, to now explore the Chinese market for cheap Chinese EVs.
Okay.
And have that as an alternative. But that's not going to happen based on some infrastructure that needs to put in place. Those cheaper vehicles have shorter ranges. They usually call them city mileage or city. So they instead of doing 300 kilometers, they can maybe do 70 kilometers on a full charge. So they're really much smaller. Those are the very affordable ones. You can maybe pick up one of those $5,000-$6,000 in the Chinese market. Right?
Okay.
Being used. So really and truly for mass adoption to reach the TIDA stage and stuff, I think we are good ways away.
A good way out. Okay.
Yeah. But what I believe what will happen is that the current car dealers are realizing there is now an appetite to look at electric vehicles, and it's starting to be like it's moving from being a luxury toy kind of commodity to where more middle class, the working class people are looking to find alternatives to what they do right now. I don't think we've reached the point where we've convinced anybody that we need to go green. I don't think we reached the point where there's enough incentive from the government, from any kind of tax structure for people to change or to go to electric vehicles. We are somewhere in between where maybe the other countries will, everybody goes through a similar kind of transformation. They have hybrids. So you would have heard people laugh and talk about the Toyota Prius.
Yeah, and the Chevy Bolt.
They had hybrids, and the Prius is for what type of people and who drives it. So those kind of that used to happen in the States and different places and stuff. And we are now getting there. So you see a lot of people see hybrid vessels. If you realize vessels, I think we have the most amount of vessels in the whole world.
The aquas too, yeah.
Followed by aqua and thing. And they have the use cases as well. And so somebody say you want to buy a vessel, like I think one of my partners, I say, why would I want to buy a fancy aqua?
Yeah. That everybody have.
There's an aqua with leather seats.
Yeah, and LEDs,
And LEDs. So the idea is, I think what's going to happen, now you see it's happening with BYD and LaFast Motors. So you'll see a lot of the European vehicles coming on market. And a lot of the people that own these vehicles, they either do two things. They buy the car, hold it for 5 to 10 years, and then sell it and buy a new one. Or they hold it for 3 years, sell it and buy a new one. So they have different people. So what's going to happen is going to have a larger amount of options of EVs available, right, in maybe 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So all these people would have purchased. I remember it's quoting some 200 EVs were sold in Trinidad last year or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah, it was 2023, right? 20, yeah, somewhere like that. Yeah, but a lot more than before, yeah.
Right. So think about those 200. Let's say 80% of those 200 EVs will come up for sale in the next, like 2026, 2028.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're going to have a car lot with about 20, 30 of them somewhere.
Yeah.
They're going to change it out. And what is happening, going back to the future of the EVs, I would always want to buy into a newer technology because the batteries are getting better. Besides, the range is getting better. It's taking less energy to do what you want to do with the vehicle. And because our rates are still so low, less energy is always a win-win from the bottom line. So the futures of EVs, I think, is going to happen. Where I see big business technology opportunities going to come in the next 5 to 8 years, where I think charging infrastructure and having a charging business for all the used EVs are going to get dumped here, right? Because China is going to have a lot of used EVs coming, and they need to find a place. Europe is going to have a lot of EVs that will come. All the Teslas, when they reach the second or third iteration of the Model 3s, and we will get Cybertrucks and everything here, but that's like maybe 4 to 5 years away. The only way that's going to happen, where we're going to have, so all these electric vehicles, I believe, will now replace the Tidas and the Sentras and all that. So not all the Sentras, but the Tidas and whatever else they have.
The Almera and the B15.
Exactly, the B15 and all them kind of things here. I believe that's where the hybrids are now going to replace that, and then the EV is going to now replace that, while leaving the newer electric cars. I believe the newer cars, so the new toys for the rich and things, going to be hydrogen powered vehicles.
Right.
But EVs and things will come. EVs will now become commonplace as we move away from the dependency of petrochemicals.
Yeah, I was thinking like probably from a different side, so I was wondering, like, you're bringing in more EVs, but the dealerships going to be kind of killing the own industry, in the sense that, well, not just the dealers alone, they'll be killing other industries, and one will be gas, but that'll kind of be a good thing. But in terms of the service, $400 for a service versus a normal ICE engine, you're making $2,000 or whatever on it, and you're letting people come in $5,000 versus every 6 months. So they're going to be killing that part of the business. Mechanics too, and all the whole used parts and auto parts place with does have all the engines and transmissions, all of that. So there are people who would be against it just for that, just because of that.
I agree. However, I also see that I was going to say why they're saying that. Right, I agree with you to a point. But what I also see is that the EV is they're going to build the price. That's why the prices of EVs going to remain markedly high. Because what they're doing is the service. So I telling you, if my sales representative, he gonna cuss, but I get ripped off buying that vehicle.
Yeah,
I should have paid that amount of money for that vehicle, and I understand why it may have been that amount. One, there's no duty, and no, there's a sum. They still getting reprieve, which wasn't passed on to us in terms of the saving. But all the ancillary services and things that they would have to carry for this vehicle, they build into the price of the vehicle.
The price of it, yeah.
So the model is going to change. So like how everybody going to the cloud and everybody per user per thing, is the same thing going to happen with the EVs. There will be some cannon fodder, as I'd like to say, in terms of in terms of the parts and that kind of stuff. But what's going to happen? We're gonna get a whole new set of tech mechanics, which will be fixing problems and customizing these EVs and these different types of technology change. It's a total technology change. So I believe that I understand what you're saying. It's going to kill people, going to be against it, but it's not going to happen forever. All those used car dealers, the day that they go to China and they could bring in a fleet of brand new electric vehicles. They have one by NIO. You also need NIO where you drive it to a spot and they change the robot, come out and change the battery and swap it out for you.
I saw that YouTube video.
Yeah. So that's the kind of craziness happening outside.
Yeah.
So by the time everybody starts changing, we will have enough. I think we're gonna get a whole new market. It'll be all different. What's gonna happen is the younger people are gonna start and going tying it back to technology. They're gonna start coding for them cars because we're gonna run those cars and modify those cars is not parts. It's code.
Yeah. Correct. The point I make there about one day the used car dealer is going to go to China and going to get ready to ship the container, and then the Chinese gonna be like, yeah, this is all we have, we don't we send all the ICE vehicles to all sorts of all different parts of the world already, and we stop making them, so you're gonna have to carry this down by your country now, and it's either take it or leave it. And when our used car dealership economy reaches to the point where it's more financially prudent to bring the EV than the ICE vehicle, that is when, money would talk. And the speed China going at right now by pumping out all of these EVs, which have in their life cycle is 3 to 5 years before they're going to switch out and start to send it to quote unquote poorer countries. That's what I say in the next 5 years. If the EV revolution taking place in China and the US and thing now, and everybody would have gotten their EV within the last, I don't know, from 2020 to now, then by 2030, I just thinking that the cycle of upgrading will cause us to get the 3 to 5 year old vehicles coming down here.
Yeah,
on the cheap.
It kind of happening right now, because so the vessel, right? You see a lot of vessels on the road now, and when you bring in a vessel, they just waive the duties and whatever, right? Because it's a hybrid. But the dealer's still selling it like it's a gas car. So they just make a lot of profit on vessels. So that's why they're bringing in so much, and
Correct. Yeah, agreed. But as I say, it is what it is in terms of where we live and that kind of thing. But what will be, they open a whole new sort of exciting prospects. I think in terms of technology, I think when ICE cars came out and we were in this position when it only had cars, the best business to get into is to open a gas station.
Yeah.
Or was equivalent to a gas station.
Charging
station.
Yeah.
So you got a charging station, and then you got your, what you call it, your quick shop in the back.
Yeah, and you have a food place too, because you're spending at least an hour. Yeah.
2 hours,
Yeah. So you have to have some sort of commodities for them,
Yeah, so I think we will evolve. Everybody going to evolve. I think the biggest impact will be in small economies. Trinidad kind of weird, and I talk about it a Caribbean perspective for the future. But the biggest impact going to be like in the Barbados and the St. Vincent and those smaller islands who they will always starve for energy and have to pay a premium for energy. The economy going to be where they're going to try to extract it from the sun, extract it from somewhere else so that they can power their vehicles. And I think the larger impact in the near future will happen quicker in those smaller economies, not in Trinidad.
Yeah, because we'll resist this because of petrochemicals. Yeah, I agree with you totally. We ain't gonna be like, well, we need that here. Because when I went to Barbados the other day, I was in a BYD bus and I was quite impressed because we didn't know when the bus pulled up because the bus was silent. And we like, And everything in the bus, USB ports on the bus, all kind of thing. And I was like, oh, BYD is a thing. Yeah.
Check out the BYD seal. That's what the new one, man. Real nice. You go check it out a lot fast. They have a few of them.
And I guess then, as Andre said, that your MG very silent as well.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah. They don't hear nothing. Nothing. What I had to do in it, I had to tweak. Everything in that car I could see was built for power efficiency. So in the back, the two doors at the back, they have the speaker cutouts with the grill. Have no speakers in their partner. Yeah. So I'll be playing music and taking my Apple Play and I'm telling guys, you're hearing it here? Well, no, it's in the front. It's in the front speaker. So I had to go tune up all EQs and all kind of thing for it to sound good. So there are things so you could see, and that all that affects the efficiency, yeah?
Yeah, because it's current with electricity.
Right.
Yeah. So Marlon boy, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm really, really, really happy we had this conversation. And message me after and let me find out. I'm gonna find out here. At least someone else needs to know your sales rep name, you know. I'm gonna see if he willing to wine and dine me. Because
honestly, if you're not in a hurry, my suggestion is wait more one iteration. They will hopefully be able to get some better technology vehicles so you get longer ranges and stuff. So
hurry is the last thing. I know hurry. I just know that I reached a point where I have to consider something within the next few years.
Well, when you're ready, if you want an MG, slightly used, let me know.
Nah, I only drive in a van. It's nothing else I drive in a Zool besides a pickup. Nothing else. I converted. For sure.
All right, guys. Well, I'm glad that I was able to contribute. Keep up the good work. Keep up the IT stuff. I'll be honest. I listen to your guys here and I say, "Cool, boy, these young guys, boy, it make me feel old."
And we don't be feeling old talking about the things that we talking about because we're like, God, I'm trying and them and care about this. But
and just as some of my students just call me uncle or the old man, whatever.
They do. Yeah.
Anytime so ask about anything IT, otherwise, I mean, I like this. This is the kind of thing I want.
When we
definitely.
We'll probably do a series about history.
Oh gosh.
Who been there now from the trenches now and know about Commodore 64. Sure, you know what a Commodore 64.
Of course.
That kind of thing.
Of course.
Alright, y'all. So
cool. All security stuff and things. Isn't that? And what really catch me with you guys? Y'all do comment on this is cybersecurity. I like the comments. I think we need greater insight. We have a whole set of younger people, professionals in the industry that just certified and still unable to grasp the concept to give good advice. You all have to keep it to the toe and keep just doing what you do with the articles and try to explain it.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, man. All right, so we're wrapping up, y'all. So today we just had a conversation with Marlon talking about EVs. He's the actual owner, but he's so much more ingrained in technology, and we're real grateful that he came through. And as we go forward, we just want to thank him very much. And so we spoke about why we have an EV, ups and downs of EVs in Trinidad, and the future of EVs, where we feel it will go and where it will come from. So this is a Trini TechCast, basically just two guys who like to talk about technology, and we kind of do this for fun because we are 78 episodes in and haven't gotten a sponsor yet. So
it had something in the work. But
the thing is, they always tell you if you don't like what you're doing, then you will end up giving up on it. But we ain't give up yet. Episode 100 will be somewhere in this year. Actually, no, it'll be the start of next year based on my calculations. But we're going good. My name is Andre Charles. You can find me online at makeITsimpleTT anywhere except LinkedIn. And I do have TikTok videos, unlike Akeem of Redbit_tech.
Yeah.
When last you post a video?
I don't even know.
All right.
That's
so
not
the
account might be the account. I don't know.
Yeah,
You might go on TikTok and find it.
Yeah, I posted a video the other day. And I have like 3 to post. So thank you very much for listening, guys. It was an hour and a half episode, but it was totally worth it. So looking forward to the comments. Anybody has any comments about this? If anybody else is an EV driver and they want to add something to it, or you want to ask a question, you could hit us up at makeITsimpleTT or at Redbit_tech. We go on there, guys. You all have a great night, morning, whenever you listen to this.